Hi guys, this is Nikki. Welcome back to my channel. As we all know, it's the application season. So as an art student who got accepted to RISD and Parsons with scholarships, hope sharing my portfolio and resume would help you guys get into your dream schools. I only applied for 3 schools. I ED'd Cornell's fine art major but got rejected. I later RD'd RISD and Parsons. Parsons also offered me scholarships with $25,000 every year, but I chose to go to RISD. Honestly, it's kind of painful rejecting the scholarships from Parsons. Anyways, for RISD, I applied for undecided major and fine arts for Parsons after experiencing the severe rejection from Cornell. Just kidding. I made some changes to my original art portfolio since Cornell had their specific challenges to complete, which include 5 or 6 prompts to complete. They only had this since last year and I did not know until like 1 month before the deadline. So I really recommend you guys really go check the school's website since they might change the application requirement every year. While RISD canceled their challenge a few years ago, it means I have more slots to put my other artworks into the slideroom. Academics. Honestly, in high school, I did not fully decide which path I would go for college. So rather than fully focus on art stuff, I also tried to keep up with my GPA. Some people say art school don't really look at your academics, which is not totally wrong, but I assume having a higher grade doesn't hurt you, and also RISD is a school that's semi-focused on your academics compared to other art schools. So here are some of the stats. My weighted GPA is 4.42 out of 5. There were around 580 students in the same year with me and my ranking was top 10%. I took 8 AP tests, including AP Calc BC, AP Physics 1, AP Hug, AP Psych, AP Gov, AP Chinese, AP 2D Design, AP Stats. Yeah, all of them I got 5 except for AP Physics 1, which I got a 4. For SAT, the final score I submitted was 1470, which is not what I aimed for because I was going for something above 1500, but I gave up after 2 tries. Just saying, RISD goes for test optional, so I just submitted my score anyways. Competitions. Almost all of my competitions are art related. I submitted my honors in 3 national competitions, 1 regional competition, and 1 school competition. For national levels, scholastic, art, and writing, I got 4 gold keys, 1 silver key, and 2 honorable mentions. Later in senior year, I got 9 additional keys and 1 national silver medal, but did not have the chance to record it on Common App since that's after the application season. I got 3rd place in a national contest called NASA Student Art Contest. I did volunteer and applied for the 100 hours award if I did not remember wrong. For regional contest, I got 1 judges award and 4 first place awards. Lastly, I won the excellence award in visual arts in my high school. Sorry, forgot to mention about this national contest, which I got a 3rd place. Extracurricular. Now onto my extracurricular. I showcased my painting and installation in senior year in an art exhibition. I wrote and illustrated a children's book called Rocky the Spy and published and sold on Amazon. It is actually very short. It's only 10 pages long. If I had more time, I would definitely expand the length and actually try to promote the selling. I also sell artworks and one of my paintings got sold and owned by a private collector. In 10th grade, I had 2 paintings exhibit in the City Hall and received an award during the exhibition. Another painting is also exhibited in a local art gallery, and for this, my high school teacher actually gives us a lot of resources so that we could participate in local contests, and those galleries would actually come to our school, like in person, to select those artworks. Like which artworks they would like to showcase. I also participated in an art fundraiser and together the group raised $3,200 and donated to a wildlife organization. Somehow I also put my piano certificate onto my resume, to be honest, just to fill up the spot. I did play piano for 10 years and earned level 10 diploma, but even with that I stopped playing piano now. And lastly, I was a secretary in a student organization during 9th and 10th grade. My position was in charge of organizing meeting, communicating with local business for activities, and producing art-related educational videos for kids to watch on YouTube. Portfolio! Finally, onto the portfolio section. I'm just going to show my RISD slideroom because most of the portfolios I submitted are pretty similar, but this one includes the more recent works that I added later on. The first artwork is called The Purple Cat. It is a mixed media piece that I worked accumulatively over a few months. The size is like 17 by 82 by 36 inches. This work is talking about global politics, and I incorporated a lot of symbolism on the animals. I used 3 huge wood panels and stapled them in an angle that somewhat resembles an eye. I also attached a small black box behind the hole in the middle and placed the phone in it to play the video I edited. Incorporating different mediums is very important, so for this piece, I created a video with different political figures in it, and it serves as a sarcastic purpose. So let's watch the video.
합동군사 연습을 더 이상 허용하지 말아야 하며 되고 있는 외세와의
Wie verletzlich wir Menschen sind. Die Pandemie hat uns daran.
We are a nation in decline, and now the interfere with our elections by using
America never recognized the Soviet occupation of the Baltic. Never.
Это подарок Сталина полякам.
Inside the parliament chambers in Kiev on Front Party deputy.
Through a generation of men. Ukraine is husbands. So
任何外来势力欺负
조선반도 정권인자의 합동군사 연습을 더 이상 허용하지 말아야 하며 되고 있는 외세와의
Wie verletzlich wir Menschen sind. Die Pandemie hat uns daran.
The second piece is Near the End of Time, which is also a mixed media work. I used foam board cutout and experimented with casts, which is the thing that you put your hand into a jelly-like material and you fill the space with plaster. This work is talking about the hope for world peace. So the bombers are replaced by the birds and gunpowder smokes are swallowed by the ocean waves. My suggestion is to always experiment with new materials. But this piece, the challenging part is I need to figure out how, to make sure those plaster hands actually hold with each other. If you look closer, you will actually see there's still a gap between them, but it's always good to try things you've never used before. I actually still have those plaster hands and I can show you guys. So you could see in the middle, I actually use glue to fill the gaps, but when I take the picture, it doesn't really show. I would say it's definitely a fun process to experiment with this material because I've never used it before. I love this hand, so I'm just gonna keep using this throughout the rest of the video. And onto submersion. For this painting, I cut a corner of the wood board to create a more 3D portrayal of the fish tank. It is a commentary on toxic femininity, so I painted the dress in a way that looks similar to fishtail, and the inspiration comes from a scene I saw when I was back in a Chinese market where they sell goldfish and they cast really vibrant light in a tank so that it attract people to buy them. The figure in the middle is like those fish being constrained by the beauty standard, and she's like the product waiting for buyers to take her away. I try to show my technical skill in this work, so I spend most of the time capturing the details on the wrinkles of the dress. Next one is Consanguineous. This is one of the pieces that I added later to my portfolio, and it's one of the works that I submitted for my College Board AP Art portfolio. Now that I look back into it, I don't really like how the face is portrayed. Anyways, this piece is talking about the maternal bond. The blue and red veins symbolize blood veins between like the mom figure and the child. Yeah, there's not too much to talk about for this one. The fourth piece is Whispers of the Waves. It's about marine pollution, fast fashion, coral bleaching, and stuff. Something to mention is that all those irregular shaped canvas, I either use foam board or wood board. Since they're easier to manipulate the shape and you could just cut it. And I would use those foam board cutter that you can buy from Amazon, and it's heated wired, and they will cut the foam nice and clean. Anyways, the thing that I remember the most about this piece is all those little crocheting part, because I never really learned how to crochet. Not gonna lie, my mom actually helped a lot making those little vibrant creatures. Also, I wrote a quote on the side of the canvas. I can't really recall what I said, what I wrote on there, but it's something about environmental pollution. Duh. Okay, this is a big one, Under the Net. There are two parts of this installation. I used one slot shooting a picture of it underwater. Just saying, this project cost me one phone because I thought my iPhone would survive underwater. Please don't trust the internet because it didn't. I bought a GoPro and took the picture. I used another slot on Slideroom just to document those individual clay models. This work is inspired by the radioactive waste event from the Fukushima leaking accident, and it's my envision of the creature as the aftermath of human actions. It's really fun to make this project because I don't have to think much while shaping those clays. Well, if you actually see my first vlog for my finals week, you would actually recognize my style is actually really similar while making those little clays. Oceanic Rhapsody. I decided to include an abstract work in my portfolio later because I really want to push myself making something that's not only trying to copy from reference pictures. Yeah, there's not much to say. I used acrylic and pastel color. It's a quick and easy process. I finished this piece in like 2 days. Even though this piece is not really an abstract piece, but I would say I definitely had a harder time in brainstorming. Duo, another piece that I added later onto my portfolio. It's a short animation video that I made on Procreate. I don't want to spoil too much, so let's just start playing the video. As you could see, I try to include as much medium as possible in my portfolio because you want the school to know your diverse skills. Hang Him Out of Dry is an installation. In this piece, I experimented with using coffee, tea, and water to dye the fabric and use sewing machine to stitch them into the shape of chairs. The chair in the middle is actually constructed with foam board. This piece centered around the topic of aging, life, and memories. Now that I look back, I feel I should have included more close-up pictures of this piece because I actually did a lot of details on the stitching part. But in this picture, you can't really tell. Yeah, so I got them. I think I used like 4 or 5 different fabrics, and then you could see how there's like little small like patterns on it, like this coffee stains and tea stains. This one is more like, this one doesn't really work out. There's not much like textures that I expected, but this one, I really like this one. I don't know if you could see. Yeah. Sheer Relief is the first piece I made for my whole portfolio. As you could see, the techniques wasn't that mature. Also, I had a difficult time figuring out how to cut the wood board into this shape. I used yarn wig beads, again trying to incorporate more mediums. Next is 404 Air, is another mixed media piece combined with video art. I actually only used foam board that people used for home construction for this piece, and I carved out little spaces to put the iPads in. From the title and the symbols, it's not hard to tell that this piece is about the impact that mass media bring to our daily life. I used the symbol of eyes and ears to convey the warped truth that people received online. The biggest challenge for this artwork is to use X-Acto knife and heated wire to make the smooth shape of the sculptures. Also, I had fun figuring out making those weird videos like the warping body and the glitch at the end. Oh, you could still see like the ear behind me. Yeah, I still put it in my working room. Stacking Desires is a mini sculpture that I made specifically to fit one of Cornell's prompt, but I still think it works if I put it into RISD's slideroom. I remember they required me to make the size so I could fit into my pocket. So this work is really tiny, is 4 by 4 by 4 inches big. And I would say it's kind of hard carving those little details because it's just so small, especially for the most inner layer, which is a tiny heart. I got inspired by, I don't know how to pronounce it, like the European like dolls, like matryoshka dolls, and I played with the concept of layering and reflect this idea onto the complexity of human desires and just the mask that people wear every day. I also forgot to talk about this one. No, You Can't Have My Tangerine is a series of small paintings. I deconstructed different elements of tangerine and each symbolized different body parts. For example, the wrinkle and the uterus. This piece is talking about the imperfections of female body, which is the aspect make them beautiful. I used tangerine as a symbol of balanced confidence, showing how people could appreciate every natural mark they had on their bodies. Filled is another more technical painting. It's just images of the food that I had in my house. Like the refrigerator, the chili sauce mixed with ketchup, and the egg mixed with milk. I think I spent around a week working on this project, and most of the times I focus on the details of each item. Like I really want to capture the reflecting lights from the packaging, and I want to mimic the textures of different food. Yeah, there's not much to say for this one. I think I link back to the general consumerism pop culture. Confinement. This is the most classic charcoal figure drawing studies, which I get a lot when I later go to RISD. Anyways, it's always good to include at least one of the most traditional drawings in your portfolio just to show your techniques. It's the same logic with the last few paintings, except for this one, it's just charcoal. Yeah. Then onto my sketchbook. I actually complete my sketchbook after I finished all other artworks, which is not what you're supposed to do because sketchbooks supposed to be daily recordings on ideas or inspirations instead of purposefully constructed. Anyways, I use collage, micron pens, and acrylic. My recommendations on sketchbook is don't be afraid to make messy marks, although you could see mine are a little bit intentional since I made it like later on. But sketchbook could be good medium, help colleges see your thumbnails or even just random doodles. Next one is Who is the Fairest of Them All? From this picture you can't really see, but I actually layered many round canvases on top of each other to convey a sense of depth. In the most center is a round mirror, and I transferred the printed picture onto the glass. I remembered I used gesso and water to transfer the printed image. Yeah. You could search the tutorial online. It's pretty easy and simple, but somehow I messed up multiple times because I printed on the wrong paper. The The teeth inside the structure is clay and there's LED lights. The title is my wordplay on a famous quote from Snow White. Fear could be beauty, or it could represent just and equal. This work is an exploration between childhood and adulthood, symbolizes the girl's search for the true self and what it means to be right in society. I actually still have this piece next to me. It's really heavy because there's like multiple layers. I stick 6 layers together, and then there's like fake grass and stuff, and like the clay teeth and like the printed image. I actually want to show you guys like the details of the flowers. 1, 2, 3, All Eyes on Me is another work combined with video art, which I use projector to cast the video onto the top picture plane. Those 3 panels are like the 3 stages or layers that people experience on a path towards success. I spent a lot of time figuring out the perspectives of the 3 layers because I wanted them to look more like flipping pages, like the top, this and this way. So the top one's supposed to be looking upward, the middle one is just normal eye level, and the bottom one is bird's eye view. The bottom layer is actually a depiction of my room, which is really messy, I get it. I added a green filter on top to create the exotic and depressed feeling. Last one, oh my god, finally. Face value. This work I would consider one of the strongest artwork in my whole portfolio. So I could begin strong and end strong. I stapled 3 canvases at an angle, so when you look from the front of the dollar bill, it looks more 3-dimensional. So if you remember my first piece, it's also stapled at an angle, but for that one, it's like popping outward, and for a dollar bill is actually like going more like inward, if that makes sense. There's also some paper cutouts on the border to create an irregular shape. I wanted to include a self-portrait, but I don't want to do it in a traditional way, so I put my face on a dollar bill. The difficult part is I kind of have to imagine how my face would look like with those wrinkles on top, and it's talking about the hierarchy in society in which everyone is implicitly labeled with a price, and I'm trying to mock this implied discrimination. Tips! Now that you had an overview of my whole portfolio, hope that gives you some inspiration, and I want to end my video with some tiny tips. First, I know most people say that it's best to keep your portfolio under one theme. I didn't really do that. I don't think it's necessarily required, but it's good to organize your ideas in a more cohesive order. Second, begin and end your portfolio with the 2 strongest works so that it leaves a deeper impression to the school. It's like how you meet a new person. You always want to have a good first impression, and when you leave, you don't want to lose the passion or strength. You gotta keep it up, and it nice and clean. Third, and also the part that I personally think is the most important is try to incorporate as much mediums as possible in a portfolio. Show them how much skills you got and how you are dared to experiment with new materials. Always be innovative and courageous. Alright, this is everything I want to address. If you have more questions, just comment below. I'll see you in my next video. Subscribe and like if you want to see more videos of me suffering, learning, and having fun in RISD. Bye!
Night, you know that I caught it.